The moment the screen went black and the exit button vanished, I knew I wasn't playing a normal game of adopt and raise a cute kid anymore. My hands were shaking as the other players screamed in the chat. It was a typical Friday night. My parents were asleep upstairs, and I was winding down after a long week of school. I had been playing Roblox for almost 4 years at that point, and I'd seen my fair share of hackers and trolls, but nothing could have prepared me for what happened next. I was in a full server of adopt and raise a cute kid, dressed up as one of those odor police players, jumping around at families just for fun. Everything was normal until a player began following me. Wherever I went, he peeked at me from behind houses. He became the bobbies in the cradles when I confronted families. He wore a Roblox visor with a peach-colored head and yellow limbs, and he always had the default Roblox smile plastered on his face. He never said a word. Then the whole game's background went black. The chat exploded with panic. Most of them were little kids screaming that they couldn't leave the game and that the exit button had disappeared. I checked the top right corner. The button was gone. I opened the menu, also gone. One terrified player yelled at everyone to get inside a building or run into the water and crouch to the bottom. "We have to make ourselves as non-existent as possible," they kept saying. I dove into the deepest area of the pool and stayed completely still. Then my desktop began to shake, literally shake, as if something massive was approaching. Struggling to hold my screen still, I saw it. A large black entity with a long, gaping mouth and curling, claw-like hands making its way toward the players gathered near the spawn point. One by one, players began to disappear as it touched them. It stopped at the pool. A few of us had managed to blend in, standing perfectly still in the deep water. Some players panicked and ran out, and it caught them instantly. One player began guiding us deeper into the pool, where we found a small hole with a top that could open and close. We slipped inside, but we must have made some noise because the entity snapped its eyes toward us. I panicked and moved deeper into the tunnel, trying to stay away from it. One player, Stylish Grilldog 1348, began moving toward the entity. I refused. That's when I was suddenly exited from the game. I remembered seeing Stylish Grilldog 1348 with lots of limited items. When I searched for her account later, it was as if she had just created it, completely empty. To this day, I've never gone back to that game. But sometimes, late at night, I wonder if that black entity is still out there searching. The tap on my window at midnight made my blood run cold. I had just seen a black, slender figure in 2 different games, and now it was outside my apartment. I was playing Roblox on a boring afternoon. My parents weren't home, and I was just killing time. Everything was normal at first. I got a house in Brookhaven, turned off every light in the virtual room just for fun, and then I saw it. A black, slender-like figure standing perfectly still in the corner. My curiosity got the best of me, so I walked closer. My game crashed instantly. A strange, disturbing glitching noise came from my computer. I restarted and decided to play Blox Fruits instead. My level was 106, not bad for a noob. But when I went to the dealer, he was gone. I searched the map until I saw it again. That same black figure standing in the ocean, staring at me. I ran, swimming as fast as I could, but it followed. It was fast, unnaturally fast. It caught up to me and my computer crashed again. I decided to stay off Roblox for a day. When I finally logged back on, everything seemed fine, until I noticed someone in my friend list that I hadn't accepted. He messaged me. "Hi there, child." I asked how he knew I was a kid. He replied, "I know where you live." I didn't believe him. Then he typed my state, Oklahoma. I turned off my computer and went to bed, but I couldn't sleep. Then I heard it, a soft tap on my window, not the wind, not a branch, a deliberate tap, tap, tap. I ran out of bed, grabbed my flashlight, and bolted out the door of my apartment. It was 12:00 a.m. The parking lot was empty, lit only by a flickering streetlight. I heard the same glitching noise I'd heard from my computer. Then a branch cracked behind me. I spun around, shining my flashlight into the darkness, and I saw it, the black figure. It lunged at me. I tried to defend myself with the flashlight, beating at its shadowy form, but it was like hitting smoke. I was knocked out cold. I woke up in a hospital. The doctor told me I had been in a coma for 2 days. He asked if I remembered anything. I told him everything. He looked at me with an expression I'll never forget, not disbelief, but fear, like he knew something I didn't. After this terrifying incident, I will never play Roblox again. Go on it. Those 2 words from 2 clown avatars in an empty server made my stomach turn. I knew exactly what they meant and I ran. It was late at night and I was bored. I had joined an empty server of a small Dandy's World fan game called Chat Word a Friedenly Goob, misspelled exactly like that. I just wanted to talk to the NPC homebody and maybe chill for a bit. There were 3 other players, a girl dressed like a rat, probably a Flamingo fan, and 2 players dressed as clowns. I didn't think much of it at first, but then they started focusing on me, following me everywhere, even into the bathroom. I pretended to use the bathroom, but they just stood in the doorway, sliding closer, staring at me. It was creepy, but I brushed it off as dumb trolling. Then the rat player left. Before she left, they'd been saying weird things like, "We love you." But once she was gone, their behavior turned dark. They followed me into every room, asking if I was lonely, asking if I had any friends. I told them no, just playing casually. Then I went into one of the bedrooms. The clowns followed. They told me to go on it. I immediately understood what they were implying and disgust washed over me. They were suggesting something unspeakable. I refused and ran straight out of the room into the garage area. They followed, staring, telling me to stop running. "We'll be your friend," they said. I hid behind Homebody, the NPC, hoping he'd do something, anything. But he just stood there silent. The clowns circled me. They asked why I was playing alone, why I didn't have anyone. Their messages became more aggressive, more demanding. I tried to leave the game. The exit button was still there, so I pressed it. The game froze. The clowns' avatars stopped moving, but their chat kept updating. "Don't go. Stay with us. We know your username now." My heart pounded as I force-closed Roblox. I sat in the dark, staring at my desktop, waiting for something to happen. A message appeared in my Roblox Messages tab from an account created just minutes ago. No text, just an image, a screenshot of my avatar taken from inside that bedroom. I've never played on an empty server since, and I always check the player list before I join any game. Subscribe if you want another terrifying story.